How humble. Whoa!
How goes it?
She's here. Oh my God, are we twinning right now?
We are twinning right now. Absolutely. Look at us. You know, there's always been a one accordness, you know what I'm saying, in our spirits, and I'm really glad to experience it here with you again.
I did not even expect that. So I really did not even, come on. This is brilliant.
It's really real in this piece.
It really is. This is so good. Wow, this is definitely it's going to be a great conversation.
Already starting off. See how you starting off?
It really is. Oh gosh, right. If you're joining in, how are you guys? Hope you're good. Now, I'm going to get my guest to introduce herself in a second. Remember, if you have any questions, hold your questions, and then I'll put them to Janette a little bit later on. But if you do have any questions, there is a little box to the side of your comment box. So you know where you're typing a hello, hi, or doing your texting. Next to it, there's like a little box, and it's got a question mark on it. Put your questions in there so that it's all there, and then I can just reel them off and ask them to my guest in just a bit, because it makes it easier because they're all in one place. Okay. All right. So, can you introduce yourself? Tell us your name, you do, where you're from, and then we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Janette Ikz, and I am an artist, widely known as a poet, also known as a musician, singer, and whatever has to do with artistry. And I hail from Los Angeles, but recently, about a year and a half now, we made the move to Atlanta. Definite culture shock, and I'm adjusting, but it's definitely it's a good move. I'm embracing it all.
Wow, is area really different to Atlanta?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Tell me how different is the culture shock? Because I'm thinking like it's a big country. It's all the same. So like, what's the difference?
So like there's a lot of huge differences. So for me, in the area that I grew up in, I didn't grow up around a lot of Black people, contrary to popular belief. I was a strong minority in my classes. There would maybe be 1 to 2 Black people in a class. And so coming here is like, it's Black, but it's a different type of Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in the mecca of Blackness. When you come to Atlanta, you have your HBC. I had an experience what it was like to be, you know what I'm saying, historically Black college, and those graduates, or was businesses widely owned by people of color. It's just extremely different. I think that there are things that I love about the transition. There are things that I miss. I miss being around so many different cultures, and food is a big deal to me. So authentically being able to have Mexican food, or authentically being able to have like food from Thailand, or like, you know what I'm saying, just different. So many. LA is a huge melting pot. Here it's like, you know what I'm saying, fried chicken, greens, macaroni and cheese, yams. You know what I'm saying? So when I moved here, I told a friend, I said, hey, which is like the organic food store. I'm like, I need to be near a Whole Foods, and I need to be near a Sprouts, which you can just tell by the names. They're like, you know what I'm saying? like I need to be near these spots that sell the organic things. But it's a beautiful difference. And I'm learning to embrace that. It's tough, but it's different. And I'm learning.
It's so interesting. Like, I never thought it would be like,
it's definitely different. So I'm in the middle of like trying to get this pour over cracking, because it's just like
making the coffee.
It's necessary for when you're in the building with Lady T, like, to make sure you have the proper settings. So you gotta make sure it's legit.
I haven't.
We're ready now. We're ready now. Okay, cool. We're good now.
Okay, so now we are in the midst of something like just crazy, because there are some who saw it coming, some didn't, and they weren't prepared enough and should have been prepared enough. But this whole this COVID-19, this virus thing, has literally affected the whole world. It's not even like, you know how some things happen in certain countries, you're like, oh, it's not going to come near me, so I'm okay, I can go about my business. But it's just like, no, the whole world stands still.
Yeah.
That is it completely, which is crazy. And it's affecting so many different people in different ways, businesses and individuals, spiritually, mentally, financially, everything, which is nuts. So for you now, you are creative, you're full time, this is what you do, you're a musician, you go out and perform. How has the effect really been on you? Like, tell me, don't tell us.
I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm not even gonna hold back. This has been it's been a chin check and a gut punch. And it's really shaken me in the sense of like, yo, do I really believe everything that I be talking about on the mic? Like, real quick. It's so interesting, like, because you said when stuff happens in a different country, you acknowledge it as happening, but we don't really empathize in the same type of way, as when it's happening to us personally. And so during this time frame, you're very familiar with PI Poets in Autumn, and we're coming off the tour and making different decisions to transition. So my husband and I, we dropped, the album dropped, and so we were preparing for the live show. And for a live show for me is not, it's not, you know me, I don't never do nothing mediocre. So
it's gotta be like,
it has to be, because I feel like we represent the Most High, and I can't shift on any hold back the sauce. Especially because we're believers. Because I feel like sometimes as Christians, there's this past where you get, it's like the quality doesn't have to be. No, the quality has to be for me. So when I tell you, man,
100%.
Listen, we had a 9-piece band. All deposits paid. My dancers were flying from Los Angeles. That's 7 flights. Had one vocal person who was running all of the background singers. I had 3 background singers and another vocal person. That's 4 more flights. We paid for the deposit for the venue. I'm not even going to say how much that was. It seated 1,500 people. And then also we paid for merchandise to be purchased, which is thousands and thousands of dollars. When I say thousands, a couple of thousand in US. So we're taking what we believe to be, like my husband saying, hey, we're going to pour the money into this, but we'll be fine because we're going to recoup it. So this is not like, as an artist, you have these influxes of times where things are like, which is usually tour time for me. And then it kind of dies a little bit down. It could be more, but for me, just believing my role as a wife and a mom, I try not to flood stuff on outside of the tour. Like at this point, at this stage of my artistry, because they sacrifice so much. They go on tour with me. My daughter's on tour with me, so she's 2 years old. My husband is taking care of her the entire time while we're on tour. And so, and we usually, when we go to all these different cities, US, everybody like Jackie and Preston and Joe and Ezekiel, they fly home every week. We stay on the bus the entire time. So we don't fly home. We don't fly home. So we're in this back little room in a little bitty bed, and we stay on the tour the entire time. It's a crazy sacrifice. And you look at the tour life and you're like, that's real fun. But when you wake up in the morning and you don't know how long you have to hold your number 2, it's not that fun. It's not, y'all. I've had some very humbling moments. There's some moments. There was one moment I had to go in a bag. Like, it just is bad. No, I felt very inhumane. I felt very, and then my husband's so kind. Like he's like, let me tie it up and take it, and it's the real. You find out what marriage is really about. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was one of those things where it's like, this is not gonna wait for anybody. This is not. So, and the rule on a tour bus is that you do not go number 2 in the bathroom on the tour bus. That's the rule. You do not go number 2 on the bathroom tour bus.
Oh, so that's gonna be painful.
It was. So saying all that to say, they make a really great sacrifice. So I try not to extend myself that way throughout the year. What we gained, and see, it's funny because you think that you're making a good bit, and you look at your end of year taxes, but then you look at your expenses and you realize you didn't really make as much as you thought you did. So we still took what we got and we're pouring it into this event because we believe in it, and we believe in giving people the high quality art, and we believe in people being paid. I have friends that say, I'll do it. I don't believe in that. I believe if you are gifted in an art form and I have the ability to pay, people do me a lot of favors, but at this point, I believe it creates a different relationship when you pay somebody than, so people just show up a little more on time than when they're doing you a favor. So I believe that it should be that people should be taken care of, and that they should be paid to the highest quality that even I can for that. So much got put into it. When I tell you, came off tour, I lost 20 pounds. coming off tour, and just was in the gym like crazy. It was just a lot that was being poured into it. Like, not even just physically, but spiritually. It was going to be a full-on production. And it's not just, you know what I'm saying? We had stringed instruments, we had bass drum, like everything. Lighting, sound, tech. Here's the other thing. Your tech rehearsals were going to run $200 an hour. So for me, as someone who wants everything to be on point, that means that I'm doing at least 3 rehearsals. I'm doing a dance rehearsal with all the dancers and making sure everybody knows where they're going, and the band. And then I'm doing a lighting and tech rehearsal to make sure every single lighting cue is the way that I want it to be. And the technicality is okay with that, and the sound. And then I'm doing a full run through. So those are at least minimally $7 to $8 8-hour rehearsals. Right. And that's not including paying your sound tech and your lighting engineer. That's just to rent the space for those hours. So, you know, when I say that we invested a lot, it was a lot.
It's a lot of money. Just counting it.
It's a lot.
Like,
it's a lot.
Counting the cost now. Like, I'm thinking in my head, and as you're reeling off all these numbers, I'm like, ooh, and that's right.
There were some points when I just said to my husband, I was like, should we be doing this? Because I felt like I was personally taking money out of our household to kind of like, this is a goal and aspiration that I have, but I don't want it to be like I'm taking from my family. You know, is there things that my family needs that I kept saying, am I being selfish? Is this something we should? And my husband's like, no, this is what we should be doing right now. So he did that. He also wrote a full-on devotional that pairs with the album, right? So we went through that, paid for the publishing, paid for all of those type of things. So that's a whole nother side, which literally he breaks down scripturally all my lyrics for the entire album. So it's a whole thing. And so when it started kind of becoming a thing, I was like, okay, well, we were one of the people that's like, till the wheels fall off, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this thing. And we were kind of late. I wish we weren't, but even the state of Georgia was late jumping in on what it really takes to kind of flatten this curve, if you will. But when we realized that it wasn't going to happen, it just financially that it began to kind of just weigh on my mind. Even though my husband says that's not my responsibility, I am not the one who bears the burden, because his theological mindset is such that, like, when the curse happened in the beginning, I'm saying in Genesis, you know what I'm saying, that there was a curse to the woman, a curse to the man, and the woman's curse is like, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be pain in childbirth. You're going to, you know, when we all get a period every month and all that type of stuff. He believes his curse, like Adam was like, hey, you're going to have to work the ground now. Like, it's not going to just pop up fruit and everything. Now you got to work. Right. So his mindset is that, like, I'm not going to tell my wife that anything I do is because I want to do it. It's not for the income of my home. It's because I want to personally do it. So it's never a burden on me to work, because he believes that's my curse. He's like, you can't put your cycle on me. You can't put your childbearing on me. This is my curse. So it's my responsibility as your husband to bear that curse and to work. So he says, like, that's not me, Janette's. It's not Janette's responsibility to be concerned, but I am. Like, I don't know how to not be concerned in that sense. And so we were kind of thinking through things financially, like, and he was like, and this is how he talks, y'all. Like, yeah, we got to get some income, like, for real. Like, so I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know what that means. My husband has 2 degrees. He has a degree in elementary education. He has his MDiv. He graduated from seminary. His master's is from his seminary. So to know he has 2 degrees that he can't use right now, and to know that he already denied using by going on tour with me, right? Because he's like, let me put my goals to the side and let's focus on what my wife is doing right now. Now it's like, let me go out and just get whatever I can right now to make sure there's consistent income coming into the household, right? Oh, Karen and Wes, I love you. So now he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, we can't sit here and just not have any income. Everything is tied up financially. So even for the flights, we're still going to do it later on. So we're not getting money back for the flights. The flights are there, but we can't recoup on those flights, right? No. So he now, like, is going to, like, a warehouse and he leaves here at like 4:15, and then he works till 3:30 a.m. and then drives about 45 minutes home. And it's just like, it's painful for me to watch, like, right? Because it's just like, you're not even working in your field. And even if you want to work in the field, the schools are shut down right now. There's no... you can't even do that.
Nothing whatsoever.
Absolutely. And I'm grateful, you know, for a husband who's willing to do whatever it needs to be done for his family. But it's painful. It's painful because it's like, it's not even just that. It's just that he's not home in the evenings anymore. My daughter is kind of like, that's her and her dad's thing has always been their naps and their bedtime. That's their thing. Like, so my child is trying not to go to sleep. She's like, where's my dad? Right. Yeah. Where's my dad? Where's my dad? And it's just, it's tough And then on top of all that, then you start getting all the messages of your other events being canceled. So it's like, even the events that you were looking to, that you thought you were going to do, canceled, like through the entirety of the rest of the year. So it really starts to weigh on you. Like, is God your provider outside of what you read in scripture and what you know mentally? I think that and I think that I've had a hard time because I think mentally, I know that I grew up in church. I grew up in a strong household with strong faith. I had my grandmother who was like the illest example, you know what I'm saying, and my mom. But like, so I know what my go-to scriptures are. I know it like the black of my hand, or the almost black of my hand. But colonization. But yeah, like I know what scriptures to go to. That's not the issue. Yeah. But do they resonate with me, and are they real to me in my heart now? I know it. I can quote you a million scriptures on faith, but do I have it right now? And what is my posture? Because is my posture the same as everybody else who doesn't have God? Like, is it that, or is my posture such that I truly believe that God is still in control? And I'm like, to be completely honest, I've had these moments where I'm just like, for a minute, it just paralyzed me. Literally, like, my husband was like, see me, and I'm just like, I'm literally on the couch just looking at the ceiling like, is this really what's happening? Like,
yeah.
Because when they actually really started shutting down, I was on my way to London when they actually started shutting it down, because Tope was getting married, Tope and Kyle Day, and I was like, I was already coming to the wedding. Flight already purchased, hotel already set. I was coming for the entire week. So when I actually was on my way to the airport and they were like, hey, you probably may not be able to come back into your country, that is when I turned around. I was already on my way to the airport to come to London. Completely. Like, nothing was stopping me from coming to this wedding. Except in that moment when literally that same day, Trump was like, hey, you may not be able to get back in the country.
Wow, this is not, oh my God.
So we're not even going to talk about that flight or that hotel. We're not going to, it's just.
And the thing is, it's a shame that like the airlines or the hotels don't have any kind of like compassion to say, look, okay, you know what, we can refund you the deposit or refund you like half of your stay or whatever.
They sent me a message. They sent me a message. The hotel sent me a message and said, we'll give you credit up to 6 months. I said, I'm in the United States. Like, ma'am, I'm not.
I don't need it.
I'm not chilling in the UK right now. I don't know what is not communicated. But yes, to say it's been tough. I think even too psychologically, like, and it's tough.
Okay, so real talk. Besides the like, the faith element, have you found yourself being angry? Let's say, have you been angry at God about the whole thing? Like, did you ever get yourself? Because I know I have been, because of my situation that I'm in, because, I resigned from my job in January. Last year. Right. And then there's me starting on this journey. And then even when I started, still a little bit, but then there's like a little bit of, oh, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And then boom, this hits. And I'm just like, really? Like right now? And I'm like, and I found myself kind of like angry at God, like, seriously? Is this what you really meant for me? Because right now I can't see this. I'm trying to see the future because, of what we said in the scripture, but like to see it right now, I just can't see it. So have you got to that point where like God, why? Like, did you ever were you angry at him?
Yeah, I think here's the thing. I think people are scared to call a thing when God already knows what it is. I think we're scared to say we're angry at God because it's the phrase of what it sounds to be like we're shaking a fist to God. But at the end of the day, like, he already knows what you feel in your heart. He already knows what's going on. He knows you're angry with him. Like, so for you to put a voice to that, it doesn't do anything but allow you to understand where you are. And absolutely, like, there has been anger, like, because I feel that sometimes when we're, as believers, when we feel like we're doing what we quote unquote are supposed to be doing, it is hard to ration. Why would this happen to me? Like, is this the reward for doing your will and trying to like? It's like, we exhaust ourselves for the kingdom. We exhaust ourselves for your glory. We know we exhaust ourselves for others.
Everything. Yep.
Especially for others, because it's like my house is the house that's always full. People are always eating at my house, like. And I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about people being in my home. I'm passionate about people hosting because I believe that I'm not a big fan of like distant discipleship. I feel like even when people ask me, like, I haven't ever just been like, hey, can you disciple me? Oh yeah, this is, I think that I've formed relationships. And for me, it's very significant for me to form a real relationship and for you to learn how much I love you before I can speak into your life and say, hey, maybe you should, or maybe you shouldn't. Because then you gain the ear. You don't just, you know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise it's just, hey, this is information. And so I think that a big deal of us moving to Atlanta was to kind of be in a position where, like, we could actually purchase a real home and actually have more space and have space for the purpose of our house being the house that people come to. And it's been tough because it's like, you're waiting on your situation and then don't start looking at your other people and your friends start coming up on other situations. It's like, and it's funny because I'm not usually that person, but it's just like, okay, Lord, I know what I'm waiting on. I know your timing, but this is a real hard one to swallow. It is. It's a real hard one to swallow. But it's like, it's hard to take it personally now because of how vastly everybody's impacted. So it's like, there's an anger, but it's like, there's a realization real quick because I'm not the only one affected. And I know people are being affected in way worse ways. So that's kind of like my rationing of how I come back real quick. It's like, hey, listen, like, it's bad, but it ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. And at the same time, I don't want to be over spiritualized either. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come at me in a way where I can't be honest about how I feel. You know, it's one of those things where, like, if I'm coughing, I was like, man, I'm sick. Don't claim that. No, I'm sick.
You're coughing. Like, let me cough. Like, that's what it is.
I was going to do a coughing example right now, but I didn't want nobody to jump off in case they thought. So, you know, the thing is, it's like, right. I caught it from medics and then I had you live. It's no joke, yo. Like, and yeah, man, I don't know.
It's interesting because I know, and why I really appreciate you doing this, because we, you know, when I first reached out to you, you said that you want to talk about it. Like, I knew, like, deep down, like, because obviously the industry that we're in, like, you know, entertainment and arts and creative, I knew for a fact that there's so many people going through what you're going through right now. And I think, like, to be transparent is so important because, like, people think, oh, entertainers, oh, you know, they're fine, they have all this money. And, like, listen, all these A-listers who have had bookings or whatever, think about it. They've just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in an instant like that.
In an instant. And the thing is, you can't prepare for what this is. You can say, let me save up a little money for a tough time, but you cannot prepare for a pandemic. We don't even know the end date of this yet, right? So you may save a little bit of money, but you're not thinking it's like, okay, well, I got this coming up. I have friends who are in the entertainment industry who work in Hollywood, who are on action. Shut down. You thought for sure that you were going to get at least 60 to 70,000 or even 150 to 200,000 off this season of a show that's shut down right now. Like, you weren't living like that. And your lifestyle is not set up to the point to where you've been prepared to live like that. So you're living in Hollywood, you're living in all these places because you feel like it's coming. And that's been like that's really been eye-opening because it's just like, yo, like, it's really bringing out what really truly matters. And what is my response? Is my response to scramble for more? Like, because for me, I was like, man, I need to do some online poetry lessons. It's like, wait a minute. Because for me, I never want to have the heart where I'm, because of what we do, because I don't mind other people doing this. It's not, I don't, business, from a business mindset, that's great. If you know that you're kind of plateauing or your business is going down, definitely think of creative ways to create more income and stuff like that. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but for Netics, what I'm saying is I don't want to look at the people of God as ways to kind of create my income because I feel like it does something different to my heart. And I want to always remain sensitive about, like, when it comes to the people of God and the way that I've been entrusted to kind of like navigate certain things. And I don't want to be like, well, let me just do this because this, so y'all can pay me for this. I don't want to do that. I want to do it because I have a heart for it. And honestly, I want to get to a point to where I don't even have to charge. That's my dream, to get to a point to where I ain't got to charge nobody for nothing, where a church can give me a check and I can give the check back to the church. That's a dream come true for me. I'm not, neither me nor my husband, we're not, let's get rich in the kingdom. Like, let's be oh, shoot, I almost said a name. Thank you, Lord. I almost name dropped in the worst way possible. I'm not going to be, that's not our goal. You know, that's not our goal. Is to, if we create an income, it needs to be away from like not abusing what God has given to us. And I don't want that heart created inside of me. So I had to stop and step back and be like, okay, God, like, what are you saying to do? And also take my hands off of it, because even biblically, that's in us as women. It's like, well, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get it done? It's
in us to do that. Yeah.
Again, it's not for me to be concerned about. Like my concern is to kind of create this peace in this environment, in this space within my home, for my family, and to kind of, because I realize that as the woman in my household, I can shift it. I can shift it, and it can be tense. Or I can shift it, and it can feel warm on the coldest day. So when my child, even at 2.5, she can feel the intensity. When me and my husband are going back and forth, and we don't get loud or like argue like that. But when we have a disagreement, she can feel it. She knows. She's trying to shut it down. She's trying to, please, mom, please, dad. Like, it's the scariest thing. And I remember being very young and intense household and knowing and feeling what that feels like, that tension. And so I think that's my responsibility. But I can't do it if I don't trust God. I can't.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you really, really can't. Let's take this question real quickly and we'll get back to this. Janette says, here's the question. How does God call you to provide? It's an interesting question.
How does God call you to provide? In the sense of like for the household, or like in what sense? I guess I need more. What do you think?
I guess we could take it for the household and just, for the family. Let's take it that way.
Yeah, I think so. And when it comes to the provision, I know that there are things that I do that does bring in an income. And for me at this point, like, to be honest, like I don't necessarily feel like when it comes to how the finances should be ran, it necessarily has to be the man or the woman. I think it falls in line with who is better with finances. And to be completely honest, I am an artist in every sense of the word. And I mean that, like, I don't like set time frames. I want to get up when I wake up. What I'm saying, having a daughter doesn't allow me to do that anymore. But like, if I had my choice, I'd wake up with my eyes open. Not my husband. It's like before the sun comes up, he's going to be getting up. He's going to be in his room. He will have already prayed. Like I can tell you at any point of any day where my husband is, what he's doing at any specific time, because that's the type of discipline he has. Me, I'm like, which way is
you're everywhere? You're scattered. Yeah. You're scattered in there. Not quite sure.
Those type of people don't really keep track of their spending in the most great way. So like, I'm like, well, cool, swipe. My husband is very much like every dollar, like it adds up. You know what I'm saying? That's his thing. It adds up, Janette. Like, how many times you gonna get coffee? It adds up. So when it comes to like provision, like I was saying earlier, because of what we do, I think it's dangerous. I think it's great that I have an art form, which is one of the reasons, let me say this, is why I work so hard to make sure that the quality of what I do is that I can walk away with it and be okay and be like, I gave it every single thing I had without reservation, because I value the fact that people will spend their time, their efforts, and their money to come see this. So I don't even feel there's an option for me to slack in any way. Because if I say, hey, it's going to be $20 US to come to see this show, I'm not thinking about Janette coming up. I'm thinking about, how do I cover everybody, and how can I do this again and take that and do it again and do it again and do it again. Yeah. So I think when it comes to the provision, like for us in our household, it's better for it to fall on my husband, because it wasn't until I met him until my credit got good. You know what I'm saying? Like, my credit got a lot better once he confiscated my credit card and left me with one. So
we all need a husband. Wow, actually, do we need a husband like that? Yeah, kind of. A little bit of freedom, but still
strict. Very black and white. He's a budgeter. You know what I'm saying? He's like, here's what's going on. And in the beginning, I was mad. He was like, so here's how much you can use per month. I'm like, first of all, I don't need an allowance. I'm grown. You're not giving me an allowance. I'm going to spend what I want. And I had to kind of like a little bit mature. Like, this is for the families. He's like, and we have to, this is what he said, we have to honor God. Like, do you understand that everything we have belongs to God, Janette? Even this money. I said, what you mean? Like, I pay my tithes. He's like, no. It all belongs to God. Like, we are the stewards of like his finances. So it don't belong to you. Like, it's not yours. It ain't ours. Like, we're stewarding, and we have to glorify God in the way that we steward our finances. I'm like, bro, like, I'm just trying to go out to eat. Like, I don't care if it's the 4th time this week. Like, I want to go to a restaurant, But like, knowing that, like, learning conviction even in the way that I spend is something crazy, So when it comes to the provision, I think it all lines up with that, and it also lines up with like what my husband feels is his role, and to provide for this family. And he provides in that way, and in the financial aspect. And then I think my provision is under his headship, and I'm sorry, feminists, under his headship, and the provision of what I set for my household and for my family. And I've learned the beauty of that as the marriage has gone on, not necessarily from the beginning. So I'm just saying very candidly, I wasn't always here.
Honestly, I think the thing you said about, providing the space, because obviously because of the situation of how things are now, and he's now having to go to work, and then it's down to you to change the atmosphere of like the house, so that when he does come home, or when Amara's around, they feel that like that peaceful kind of sense. So like, what kind of things do you do in order for that to happen, so that like someone might be watching now and they're struggling to keep the household kind of like at peace? Because ultimately, like you said, for the feminists who are out there, unfortunately, sorry, but we are actually the gatekeepers of the house. Like it is actually our, as they say, the men build the house, with the women create the build. They put together the home. So what kind of things do you do, or what can you recommend to any woman who's struggling to kind of like keep that like balance of like peace in the house, especially during this time?
I often tell my husband, like even when he tries to go into the refrigerator and he doesn't know what he wants, I say, "Excuse me, what are you looking for?" Because I'm the manager of this home. So I don't go in your space I manage this. I run this. This is my space, my facility. So, like, I what do you want? But I think the first thing like about that is to really adapt a proper mindset. And again, like even when I was thinking about the provision with the finances, if I feel like if I was better at finances, he would be like, yo, like you run the budget and let me know what's up. You know what I'm saying? But I think that for me personally, some of the things that I'll do is like, for example, if he's coming home at 3:30 in the morning and I'm still asleep and my daughter's still asleep, and I know she's gonna want to wake him up, but he needs to sleep longer. So we're up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna make sure I take her and just allow him to have some space and some time where he's not interrupted, so he can sleep. When he's about to get up, and I know that he's about to get up, or I hear him kind of rustling around, I'm thinking through like, okay, what can I provide for him? What does he want to eat? What does he usually want to eat? What does he want to do? Most of the time, he's just like, I just want some cereal, like, and he'll make his own cereal. But every now and then, I'm like, hey, let me just do something special to kind of like for you. And then usually he'll kind of do some work from home. But for me, like, I just want to create a peaceful environment. So I'm not a normal person who will engage. I'm very cool with like, oh, how's your day? Okay, cool. How's my day? Okay, cool. I don't need to. I'm not a very like, first you did this and then what happened? But that's not me. But I have learned that I need to become that person, and also to listen, because my husband is always a thinker, right? So when he gets up, he has a lot of information he wants to spew on me, whether that
be... So you have to be ready to listen to it and be like, okay, right.
Everything from like what is behind all of Corona. Is this really an accident? Like this, just letting him process. He's a thinker, so letting him process. Yeah. For me, that's a lot in the morning. So sometimes he can tell by my face that this is a lot. And he's like, "Oh, I'm talking too much." And I'm like, "This is a lot, but I want to hear what you have to say." But I think that like by not being in a space where I'm willing to engage with him would create him to kind of retract and kind of feel unappreciated. It's little things like that. It's just like, well, dang, I'm going to work, so you can't even engage. And there's other things I do as well. Like I talk to different people all throughout the day. I have a wide range of friends, a wide range of family. But for the time frame that he's home, I've learned that I need to try to kind of shut that down and not be engaging in as many conversations, because I only get a little bit of time with him. So for example, if he gets up at 10, and then he takes a nap with my daughter from like 1 to 4. He's leaving the house by 4:15, 4:20. I only have a small window with him throughout the day. So I need to kind of shut that down and let other things operate. I think the main thing is making sure that he feels appreciated and also fulfilling my, the other wifely duties. I'm trying to be consistent. So even when you're tired.
It's what happened. That needs to happen anyway, because it's just like
men.
Right.
For some reason, men really feel appreciated and loved in that way. And for me, I feel appreciated and loved if you clean the kitchen, and if you decide to say, "Hey, like, you know what? I'm a cook tonight. I'm gonna." It's like when you relieve me of a duty. Oh boy, what? That's real.
Like this is great.
Foreplay is vacuum the floor. Like that is you trying to start something in here. This house is clean. What? And you lifting up the toilet seat and putting it back down? Oh no. You trying to start something. So But for men, boy, they just like, it's just like, I don't feel loved. I'm like, bruh, it's only been 4 days. It's gonna be all right. Like, just please
Honestly.
work with me. I'm tired.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get tired. We're like, okay, all right.
I see my friend Lily from South Africa. She said, "Please clean the kitchen. I'll be down for anything." I'm telling you, when you relieve me of a duty, you want me to cook, you want me to clean, you want me to do all this stuff, and then still have the energy and the proper attitude.
You must be mad. You know, as they say in my country, they crazy.
Listen,
they say you're crazy. Are you all right? What do you mean? Oh my gosh, no, it's good. There's a really good tips. I hope you guys are writing these tips down in terms of keeping the home and kind of peaceful during this period, because yes, it can get kind of crazy.